Today is the day. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, not after this one last cheat meal. Today. I am starting a full 30-day weight loss challenge, and I am filming every single day so you can see exactly what happens, good or bad. No editing out the hard parts. If you've ever tried to lose weight and given up after a week and a half, I want you to stick around for this video because today is not a workout video, and it's not a what I eat in a day video. Today is the planning video. This is the video where I lay out exactly what I'm going to do for the next 30 days, why I'm doing it this way, and how I'm going to measure whether it's actually working. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. Most people don't fail a weight loss challenge because they lack willpower. They fail because they never had a real plan in the first place. They just decided to eat healthy on day one with no structure, no numbers, and no system, and by day 4 they were making it up as they went along. That is not going to be me this time, and if you're doing this with me, that is not going to be you either. So, here's exactly what's coming in this video. I'm going to show you my starting stats. Honestly, no filters. I'm going to walk you through the exact rules of this 30-day challenge. Then I'm breaking down my full diet plan, my full workout plan, and the mindset system I'm using to actually make it to day 30 instead of quietly deleting this whole series by day 6. Let's get into it. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Susan, and this channel is all about honest, no-nonsense fitness and weight loss content. No magic pills, no detox tea, none of that. Just real, sustainable habits that actually work over time. If that sounds like something you're into, do me a favor and hit subscribe because this is officially day 1 of a full 30-day series. Every single day for the next month, I'm going to post an update, sometimes short, sometimes long, showing you the meals, the workouts, the wins, and honestly, the days where I don't want to do any of this. I want this to be the most real weight loss series on YouTube, not a highlight reel. And if you're planning on doing this challenge alongside me, even better. Drop a comment down below that says day 1 so I know you're in, and I'll be checking in on those comments throughout the series to see how everyone's doing. Accountability works better in numbers, so let's build that here together. Why I'm doing this and my starting point. Let me be fully transparent about where I'm starting from because I think this matters more than people realize. Right now, I am 135 pounds, my waist measurement is less than 27.5 inches, and honestly, my energy levels have been pretty low for the last few months. I've gained weight slowly over time, not from one bad decision, but from 1,000 small ones stacked on top of each other. Late nights, skipped workouts, convenience food because I was too tired to cook, and a whole lot of I'll start Monday that never actually happened. I'm not doing this challenge because I hate how I look. I'm doing it because I want more energy, I want my clothes to fit the way they used to, and honestly, I want to prove to myself that I can commit to something for 30 straight days without quitting. That's really what this is about underneath the weight loss goal, building the discipline muscle, not just losing pounds. So, why a 30-day challenge specifically, instead of just saying I'm going to lose weight with no end date? Because a defined time frame changes everything psychologically. 30 days is long enough to build a real habit and see real, visible results, but it's short enough that it doesn't feel impossible or overwhelming. I'm not telling myself I need to change my life forever starting today. That's too big a promise for my brain to actually believe. I'm telling myself I need to follow this plan for 30 days. That's it. That's a promise I can actually keep, and once I keep it, I'll decide what comes next. Small, defined commitments beat vague, lifelong ones every single time, and that's the first mindset shift I want you to take from this video. I also want to set a baseline expectation right now at the very start so nobody watching this series thinks something went wrong later. I am not expecting to drop some huge, dramatic number by day 30. Healthy, sustainable fat loss is usually somewhere around 1 to 2 pounds a week for most people, which means by the end of this challenge, I'm realistically expecting somewhere around 4 to 8 pounds down, along with visible changes in energy, sleep, and how my clothes fit. If you're watching this hoping for some overnight miracle transformation, I want to be honest with you up front. That's not what this series is. This is the slow, boring, sustainable version. And that's exactly why it's going to work. The rules of the 30-day challenge. Before I get into the actual diet and workout plan, I want to lay out the rules of this challenge because a challenge without rules is just a vague wish. Here are the 5 rules I'm holding myself to for the next 30 days. Rule number 1. Track everything. Every meal gets logged, every workout gets logged, and my weight gets checked once a week, not every single day. I'll explain in a minute why daily weigh-ins are actually a trap, but for now, just know, once a week, same day, same conditions. Rule number 2, no 0 days. There will be days I don't feel like working out, and that's fine. That's human. But the rule isn't go hard every day. The rule is never do literally nothing. If I truly can't do a full workout, I still do a 10-minute walk. Something beats nothing, always. Rule number 3, 1 flexible meal per week, not per day. I am not doing an all or nothing, 0 treats for 30 days approach because that's exactly the kind of extreme plan that leads to a binge and a full quit by week 2. I'm allowing myself 1 planned, enjoyed, no guilt flexible meal each week. Structure with a little bit of freedom built in survives. Rigid perfection doesn't. Rule number 4, sleep is part of the plan, not separate from it. I'm aiming for 7 to 8 hours a night because poor sleep wrecks hunger hormones, wrecks recovery, and wrecks willpower the next day. If I'm only tracking food and workouts but ignoring sleep, I'm only doing half the plan. Rule number 5, film and post every single day, no matter what happened that day. Good day, bad day, missed workout, perfect day. It gets documented. This is the rule that keeps me the most honest because I know all of you are going to be watching, and that accountability is honestly more powerful than any app or any tracker. Notice that none of these 5 rules say anything about perfection. They're all about consistency. That distinction is the entire foundation of this challenge, so keep it in mind as we move into the actual plan. The 3 mistakes that kill most 30-day challenges. Before we get into the plan itself, I want to call out the 3 mistakes I've personally made in past attempts because I guarantee at least one of these is the actual reason a past diet of yours failed, and naming them now means we can design around them from day 1 instead of learning the hard way again. Mistake number 1 is going too extreme, too fast. Cutting calories drastically, cutting out entire food groups, and adding 2-hour daily workouts on day 1 feels productive, but it's completely unsustainable, and unsustainable plans always collapse, usually within the first 10 days. The body and the brain both resist sudden, extreme restriction, which is exactly why moderate, boring, repeatable plans consistently outperform aggressive ones over any real length of time. Mistake number 2 is relying purely on motivation instead of building systems. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are temporary by nature. They come and go depending on sleep, stress, and mood. If a plan only works when I feel motivated, it will fail the very first time I have a rough day, which over 30 days is guaranteed to happen more than once. That's exactly why this challenge leans so heavily on trackers, checklists, and pre-decided rules instead of hoping I simply feel like it every single morning. Mistake number 3 is treating 1 bad meal, 1 missed workout, or 1 gained pound as total failure. This all or nothing thinking is probably the single most common reason diets don't make it past week 2. 1 off day is just 1 off day out of 30. It only becomes a real failure if it turns into a 5-day spiral because I decided the whole challenge was already ruined. Progress over 30 days is never a straight line, and expecting a perfectly straight line is setting myself up to quit over completely normal bumps in the road. The complete diet plan. Okay, let's get into the part most of you are probably here for. The actual diet plan. I want to keep this simple because complicated diets are diets people quit. Here's exactly what I'm doing. First, the calories. I'm eating in a moderate calorie deficit, roughly 500 calories a day below my maintenance level. I calculated my maintenance using a standard total daily energy expenditure formula based on my age, weight, height, and activity level, and then I'm eating below that number, not starving myself into some extreme deficit. A moderate deficit like this typically supports around 1 pound of fat loss per week, and just as importantly, it's a number I can actually sustain for 30 days without feeling constantly starving, foggy, or miserable. Second, the macros, and I'm keeping this really simple with a plate method instead of obsessively weighing every single gram of everything. Every main meal, I'm aiming for a palm-sized portion of protein, think chicken breast, fish, eggs, Greek yogurt, tofu, lean beef. I'm filling half the plate with vegetables because they're low calorie, high volume, and keep me full. Then a fist-sized portion of carbohydrates like rice, potatoes, oats, or whole grain bread, and a thumb-sized portion of healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, or nuts. That's it. That's the whole system, and it works because it's repeatable at any restaurant, any grocery store, any kitchen. Third, protein is my number one priority, even above the total calorie number some days. I'm targeting roughly 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of my target body weight, spread across 3 to 4 meals a day. Protein keeps me fuller for longer. It protects muscle while I'm in a calorie deficit, and honestly, it's the one nutrient that makes the biggest difference in whether a diet feels sustainable or miserable. Fourth, hydration. I'm drinking at least half my body weight in ounces of water every day, and I'm having a full glass of water before every meal. This one sounds too simple to matter, but thirst is very commonly mistaken for hunger, and starting a meal already hydrated genuinely helps me eat a more reasonable portion without even trying. Fifth, and this is important, I am not cutting out entire food groups or labeling foods as good or bad. No food is off limits forever. The goal is simply that the majority of my calories, I'm aiming for around 80 to 90%, come from whole, minimally processed foods, while leaving room for normal life. Birthday parties happen. Dinners out happen. I'm not going to derail 30 days of progress over one slice of cake, and neither should you. Just so this isn't abstract, here's an actual sample day for my meal plan. Breakfast is Greek yogurt with berries and a scoop of granola, plus black coffee. Lunch is grilled chicken, a big mixed salad, and a small portion of rice. My afternoon snack is an apple with a tablespoon of peanut butter, or sometimes a protein shake if I'm heading into a workout. Dinner is baked salmon or lean ground turkey with roasted vegetables and a small sweet potato. Simple, repeatable, and honestly, meals I actually enjoy eating, which matters more than people give it credit for. A diet you dread is a diet you quit. Finally, meal prep. I'm prepping proteins and grains in bulk twice a week, usually Sunday and Wednesday, so that on busy days, healthy eating is the easy, default option instead of something that requires effort and willpower I might not have after a long day. Removing decision fatigue is one of the most underrated weight loss tools that nobody talks about enough. I'm also keeping a loose meal timing structure, not because eating late is somehow magically fattening, but because a consistent schedule reduces random grazing. Breakfast around 7, lunch around noon, a snack around 3, and dinner around 6:30. I'm giving myself a soft cutoff of no mindless snacking after 8 at night, mainly because that's historically when I've done the most unplanned, low-awareness eating in front of the TV. If I'm genuinely hungry after that, a small piece of fruit or a cup of herbal tea handles it without derailing anything. One more thing on the diet side that I think gets overlooked constantly. I am not buying any special supplements, fat burners, detox teas, or meal replacement shakes for this challenge. None of that is necessary, and a lot of it is honestly a waste of money at best and actively unhealthy at worst. The only two things I'm adding are a basic multivitamin, just as cheap insurance while I'm eating in a deficit, and a simple whey or plant protein powder for days when I can't hit my protein target through food alone. That's it. No gimmicks required. The complete workout plan. Now let's talk about the workout side of this challenge, because diet and exercise work together, not separately. Here's my full weekly split for the next 30 days, and I designed this to be realistic for someone with a full schedule, not a 2-hour daily gym routine that nobody can actually maintain. Monday is upper body strength. Push-ups or bench press, rows, shoulder presses, and bicep and tricep work, roughly 40 minutes, 3 to 4 sets of each movement. Tuesday is cardio, and I'm keeping this approachable. A 30 to 40-minute brisk walk or a light jog, nothing extreme, because cardio doesn't need to destroy you to be effective. It just needs to be consistent. Wednesday is lower body strength squats, lunges, deadlifts, or hip hinges, and calf work, again 3 to 4 sets each, about 40 to 45 minutes. Thursday is active recovery, light stretching, maybe some yoga, or just another easy walk. Recovery days are not optional rest where I do nothing. They're intentionally lighter movement that helps my body actually repair and keeps the routine going instead of feeling like an on-off switch. Friday is a full body strength session, hitting everything with slightly lighter weight and higher reps, which also serves as a nice way to close out the strength training week. Saturday is my longer cardio and core day, a 45-minute walk, jog, or bike ride, followed by 10 to 15 minutes of core work like planks and dead bugs. And Sunday is a full rest day, no structured exercise at all, because rest is when the actual physical adaptation happens. Muscles don't get stronger during the workout, they get stronger during the recovery afterward, and skipping that recovery is one of the fastest ways to burn out and quit. Add that all up, and we're talking about roughly 4 to 5 hours a week total. That's it. That is genuinely achievable for almost anyone with a normal job and a normal life, and that's exactly the point. A workout plan only works if you can actually fit it into your real schedule, not some fantasy schedule where you have unlimited free time. I also want to mention progressive overload because this matters even in just 30 days. Each week, I'm aiming to either add a little bit more weight, do 1 or 2 more reps, or shave a little time off my cardio pace. Small, consistent increases like this are what actually drive results over a month, rather than doing the exact same workout on day 1 and day 30 and wondering why nothing changed. And if I miss a scheduled workout because life happens, and it will happen at least once in the next 30 days, let's be honest, the rule from earlier applies. No 0 days. I do a 10-minute walk, some bodyweight movements at home, anything just to keep the pattern of daily movement alive instead of breaking it completely. A quick note on structure within each session, because this matters for avoiding injury, especially in week 1 when the body isn't used to the new routine yet. Every workout starts with 5 to 10 minutes of dynamic warm-up, light cardio, and mobility work to get blood flowing into the muscles I'm about to use. Every workout ends with 5 minutes of static stretching and a few slow breaths to bring my heart rate back down. Skipping the warm-up and cool down to save 5 minutes is exactly the kind of shortcut that leads to a strain or a tweak that knocks out an entire week of the challenge, so I'm treating those bookend minutes as non-negotiable, not optional extras. Mindset, tracking, and tools. Now, let's talk about the part most weight loss videos completely skip, the mindset and tracking system that actually keeps a plan alive past week 1. Because I promise you, I have started diets before with great intentions and abandoned them within days, and it was never because the meal plan was wrong. It was because I had no system for staying consistent when motivation naturally dipped, and it always dips. First, tracking. I'm using a food tracking app to log meals, mainly for awareness rather than obsession. The goal isn't to weigh and measure everything down to the gram forever. It's to build an accurate sense of portion sizes so that eventually I don't need the app at all. I'm also using a simple paper habit tracker taped to my fridge, with 1 box to check off each day for workout completed, water intake hit, and sleep goal hit. There is something powerful about physically checking a box that an app notification just doesn't replicate. Second, and this is important, I am only weighing myself once a week, same day, same time, first thing in the morning before eating or drinking anything. Daily weigh-ins are one of the most common ways people quit early because body weight naturally fluctuates 2 to 4 pounds a day from water retention, sodium, hormones, and digestion, completely independent of actual fat loss. If I stepped on the scale every single day, I would see a random number go up on a day I did everything perfectly, get discouraged, and potentially quit over a fluctuation that means absolutely nothing. Weekly weigh-ins smooth all of that noise out. Third, I'm also tracking waist measurements every week and taking a progress photo every week in the same lighting, same clothing, same pose. The scale is only one piece of data. Muscle weighs the same as fat but takes up less space, so it's entirely possible to lose inches and look visibly leaner while the scale barely moves, especially early in a program like this. If I only trusted the scale, I could easily miss real progress that's actually happening. Fourth, the mindset shift that I think matters more than anything else in this entire video. I am treating this as an identity change, not just a temporary diet. Instead of telling myself, I'm on a diet for 30 days, I'm telling myself, I am becoming someone who trains and eats well consistently, and this 30-day challenge is proof of that. That might sound like a small wording difference, but it changes the decisions you make in the moment. A person on a diet sees a treat and thinks I'm breaking my diet. A person who is someone who eats well sees the same treat and thinks this doesn't match who I'm becoming today, and that framing is genuinely easier to act on. And on top of the individual tools, I'm building in an actual support system because trying to do this completely alone is harder than it needs to be. That's part of why I'm posting this publicly every single day instead of just doing it quietly in private. Knowing that people are watching, commenting, and doing this alongside me creates a level of accountability that a private, unshared goal simply doesn't have. If you're serious about actually finishing something like this, I genuinely encourage you to tell at least one other person about it, or better yet, find someone to do it with you, because shared commitments are dramatically harder to quietly abandon than solo ones. Fifth, I'm planning for obstacles in advance instead of pretending they won't happen. I already know there will be a busy day where I don't have time to cook. I already know there will be a social event with food I didn't plan for. So right now, before any of that happens, I'm deciding. On busy days, I default to a simple pre-planned backup meal. At social events, I eat what I want in a reasonable portion, enjoy it fully, and get right back to the plan at the very next meal. No guilt, no, I already messed up, so I might as well eat everything today spiral. That specific spiral, by the way, is responsible for more failed diets than almost anything else, and naming it now on day one is exactly how I plan to avoid it. What day one actually looks like. So here's what actual day one looks like in practice, not just in theory. This morning, I took my starting weigh-in, my starting measurements, and my before photos, so I have a real baseline to compare against on day 30. I did my grocery shopping based on the meal plan I just walked you through. I prepped my proteins and grains for the next few days, so the healthy option is the easy option all week. I did my first scheduled workout from the weekly split. I hit my water target. And tonight, I'm checking off my very first box on the habit tracker. It's not glamorous. There's no dramatic moment here. It's genuinely just a normal, boring day of following a plan, and that boring consistency is exactly the entire point of this whole series. The people who actually succeed at this rarely look exciting on any single individual day. They just show up day after day and let 30 of those boring days stack into something that actually changes how they look, feel, and live.
Final fotos e outro.
So that's the full plan. A moderate calorie deficit, high protein, a simple plate method diet, a realistic 4 to 5 hour a week workout split, weekly instead of daily weigh-ins, and a mindset built around identity and consistency instead of perfection. No extremes, no gimmicks, nothing that requires me to hate my life for the next month. Just a clear, repeatable system. If you take away just one thing from this entire video, let it be this. The plan doesn't need to be perfect, and it definitely doesn't need to be extreme. It just needs to be specific enough that I can't quietly talk myself out of it, and realistic enough that I can actually follow it on a normal, busy, imperfect week. That's the difference between a 30-day challenge that turns into a real, lasting change and one that quietly disappears from a search history by day 9. I'd rather move slowly and actually arrive than sprint hard and burn out before the halfway point. If you're doing this challenge with me, comment day 1 below right now so I can see everyone who's starting this journey today, and follow along every single day for the next 30 days as I document exactly what happens. The good days, the hard days, and everything in between, completely unfiltered. If this video helped you build your own plan, even if you're not following mine exactly, hit that like button and subscribe, because it genuinely helps this series reach more people who need to see that a realistic, sustainable plan is possible. I'll see you next, where we find out how this plan actually holds up against real life. Thanks for watching, and let's do this together.